Well, good morning, and welcome to our 50th Coffee Talk. Guys, is that right? 50th?
Well, my math is always highly suspect.
Depends what stats you go by.
If I've counted the number of individual Coffee Talk videos, sometimes, because if you go back through the list, sometimes we had 2 videos for 1 week, but yes, likely this is our 50th Coffee Talk, which is also like 52 weeks, like we've been a whole year since the last regular Sunday.
It's crazy.
Though a year and a week, if you count the week before, was really technically the last regular Sunday, because Lyndon's last Sunday was 52 weeks ago, so that would be
But like a
irregular.
A year, I think our very first Coffee Talk was like March 18th.
Yes.
I think it was like the day
Yep.
after we met as a board and kind of figured out, okay, we're going online.
Absolutely. And then, so we took a couple weeks off in there, like New Year's, but other than that, 50 weeks of Kevin and I sitting down going, what do we need to talk about this week? What's going on in the life of the church?
Did you ever imagine you'd be so popular? I mean, thousands of views every week. It's amazing.
I don't know if my popularity's ever been lower. This is not what we do to get popular.
Yeah.
I was saying to our life group last night, I think if we really wanted to be popular, like we need an unboxing kind of channel. Like there's just
Not an unboxing, a boxing.
Oh, I thought a rebox. You're right, a reboxing.
Reboxing kind of
because
channel.
that's always like because unboxing videos on YouTube are huge. Maybe they're not anymore. Maybe that's passe. It's just how behind the times I am.
It's still the tech industry.
And then, but showing people how to repackage things back in the original packaging, because that never happens. If someone had a channel of just showing you how to like get your tent back in the bag, or like how to get whatever you've ordered back in the packaging so you can resend it to Amazon or whatever, like that would be winner.
That would be good.
Well, we know what our next endeavor will be, eh?
So yeah, if anyone young and techie wants a great idea for YouTube, do that, and I'm sure you will have half the planet following you.
But the 50 is interesting too, because like when we started it, we also thought this was just going to be a couple weeks of announcements. Yeah. And then like, okay, we're going to go back to the thing and 50.
Anyways, 50 is kind of exciting. So we wanted to celebrate.
Yeah, it's not a big deal
Yeah.
for this, but how long till our church turns 50? That's coming up in just a few years, isn't it?
October 2024.
Wow.
2024. Okay, so we're now that's something really worth celebrating. This is just for perspective. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
that is a big deal, and
I'd rather party on that day than this day.
We're gonna have to start planning for that. But.
Well, and speaking of 50 years as a church, we have a special guest with us, Darlene Butler, who you weren't a forming member, but you know a little bit of the history, and we wanted to talk a little bit about how prayer shaped the beginnings of Lakeview. We've been talking a lot about prayer the last month or two.
Yeah.
We are doing Seek God for the City leading up to Easter. We're talking about prayer warriors in the prayer chain. We'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. But Darlene, can you tell us a little bit about how prayer shaped Lakeview?
Good morning, everybody.
Sorry, I didn't introduce you.
Yeah. I wasn't at the very beginning, but very shortly afterwards, before this building was ever here. But as I recall listening to people, there was much prayer with the founding members and the new pastor that had been called. They spent much time in prayer as to how do we move forward, how do we reach our community. And our family wasn't attending church at that time. We had moved here very recently before that. And I had grown up going to church, but at the moment wasn't. But later, much later, I heard there was an older couple on our street, and they were founding members of Lakeview, Joe and Rosa Susbar. And he would go every single evening, and he would walk our street, and he would stop at the driveway of each home, and he would pray for that family. And as Mac and I were reminiscing about it the other day, and trying to remember how many people that we know of came to know Christ. Partially because this man was so faithful to God in, he knew us, but not well, but he knew we needed Jesus. And he determined he was going to be a part of helping that happen. And we recalled 6 families from our small street that over the years, either one or all of the family members came to Christ.
Wow.
So what an impact that man had just on our small street. Our street isn't big. And it reminded me, and I'm not as faithful, I still live on the same street, and it reminded me that when I walk my street, I need to be doing that as well, each time I walk it, not just sometimes. So I would challenge those people watching.
Yeah.
Even if it's only a few homes on your street, even if it's only one other home on your street that you know that needs Jesus, pray for them each day. God knows what they need and how he will reach them. We don't know, you know. And so it's always been a powerful image in my mind that we never know the far-reaching effects. Like, he was gone from our street and possibly even gone to glory before some of those that he had prayed for came to know Jesus. So
What's also amazing about that is how well that translates to now, because that's a COVID-friendly activity.
yes.
Totally.
Yes.
And B, I think some of the people watching who are kind of fitting even Coffee Talk into that little narrow window that they can watch and move on to their next thing are probably thinking, that's a lot of time. But you can drive past that house, and as you drive to your thing and as you go to your next thing, you now can be praying for that family.
Yeah.
And be praying in the same way that God will open that door of even communication. So, like, that was one thing that we did. It was very random for us because we've tried to get to know some of the people that we're connected to on either side. But as soon as COVID began and everybody's kind of in lockdown, don't talk, don't go outside, don't do anything, we actually just took coffee and went around our whole street and just said, hi, we're from down the street. We have lots of extra coffee because Lana works at Starbucks, and we want to just say hi and see if you're doing okay, and like begin there or begin somewhere, or just, and that's amazing. And that's like, we've been talking a lot about prayer-led, spirit-empowered, right? If I can take a page from Pastor Jeff, right? And that's where we need to be. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is such a cool story.
Yeah. And along with that, I remember even before, because I was a member, I brought the girls to Sunday school because I wanted to make sure that they made good choices. And I remember people within the church body at that time praying over me and the kids, that our home would totally come under the authority of Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so
lots.
you are here partly because of those prayers.
Totally.
Wow.
Totally. The prayers of many people in my life,
Prayers
for
of many
sure.
people, yeah.
Many, many people in my
Yeah.
life. So.
Wow.
In a similar way, we, I think I mentioned recently, but we just wrapped up a series with our youth on being Christians at our best. The very last session of it actually has you write out who are my neighbors and actually kind of go through and list the people on your street and begin praying for them.
Yeah.
And so that's, I don't know, sometimes it's great to walk by. I love, like, that's so powerful, though I will be, our moderator and his wife walk up and down our street every day, and now if they're stopping at the end of my driveway, I'm like,
Well, no, but like going back to Darlene, like you said, that family might need Jesus. That family might have Jesus and be in terrible shape right now too.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right?
absolutely.
So maybe
You
the
don't
Millers
know.
need prayer.
we do. I will be on, but not
be
but just
the first to admit.
encouragement, right? Like,
Yeah.
but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're right. It's not just pray to have, but it's to bless others, right? There's we pray not just in desperation,
Yeah.
but in hope and in joy too.
Yes.
And so that's a great reminder. And then, as you can, if you don't know the neighbors on your street, I encourage you to kind of, like, I love that. Like, just, maybe you don't get a chance to introduce face to face, but do you know their names?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do they have to, back into the van at the top of your driveway before you actually get to know their name? Or can you actually, in a friendly way, do, kind of say hi and introduce yourself?
And I think you mentioned it does feel overwhelming, your street. Like, I have a pretty long street to stop at every, I just don't know how I would do that. So I like what you said. Who are the neighbors that my property touches that I might get to know? Well, let's start there, and then, as I pray for them, hopefully God will give me opportunity to talk with them, and then I can expand from there, but at least I can be praying for them.
Yeah.
We did in youth similar. I would challenge kids to write down 3 names.
Yep.
And just daily pray for those 3. So maybe it's 3 neighbors, whatever you can start to consistently in it. You might miss a day, that's fine. Just pray the next day, and it's a great place to start. Yeah. So that was the formation of Lakeview. Now Lakeview's as all churches are, we're in a changing place. We don't know what's next. New pastor, but new situation with COVID and everything. We've talked about different ways people can be involved in prayer. You don't have to be part of our program to be involved in prayer, but we do have different programs like the prayer chain, where for emergencies people can pray, so if you want to be on that. But Prayer Warriors is something that you actually are kind of heading up, and you and I have met about that and talked about it. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is and how people could be involved?
So Prayer Warriors, and I think we decided because it was contenders, just so that people know that it's the same thing. We've just kind of renamed it a bit. But it started many, many years ago, and we were challenged to sign up so that you could be assigned to a day of the week to pray for something specific for Lakeview Church. And it's every few months, then it will change that if you were on Monday for these few months, then you would be on Tuesday. So you're having a different thing to pray for. And we had assigned people to each day of the week. So there'd be 2 or 3 people praying for that specific thing each week. So there are still many that were, originally with that have decided they want to continue with that prayer ministry. And if there's any others of you that it's something you just do at home, once COVID's over, I would hope that we can maybe get together as a group for a breakfast or something, just to encourage each other and to pray together, not just individually, but that'll be down the road. But if there is anyone, just let the church office know or give myself a call, and we would be glad to have you join that group of prayer warriors.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything I missed regarding that.
I think if people want to find out more, they can ask, and we can tell them the details. You don't have to, if you ask about it, you don't have to be on the list. If you just want to know more, we can tell you more, and then you can decide if you want to do it. But the idea is that every day a group of people is praying for a specific area for the church, so that through the week, every week, the different areas that we've thought of are being prayed for specifically. So thank you. Speaking of prayer warriors, prayer chain, prayer seek God for the city. We also have another, was it you that was going to talk about
I think it was
Sunday
you,
night?
but I can't.
okay.
I'm happy to jump in here because one of the things that we also tried to do a little more of during this time of COVID was have a regular monthly prayer gathering, and that too has kind of morphed over the year a bit. But the second Sunday of every month, we want to gather together and pray. And so we're going to do that. That's this week. That's this upcoming Sunday. I'm trying to remember the actual date. March the 14th. Thank you. In case you're watching this at another time. But March 14th, 6:30 p.m. We're going to gather on Zoom. So the link will be going out with the bulletin. Link's the wrong thing. I mean, really, it's the meeting ID and all that. But it's going to be with the bulletin email that comes out on Friday. So check your inbox for that. We'd love to have you gather with us, and we're going to pray. Some of the focus, just so you know, this week is we do want to be especially remembering our missionaries and our international ministry partners. I guess not just international, even across some of the other ones across our city, but we want to be thinking about ministry partners. And also, we've said this a number of times now, but we know that sometimes people are intimidated by the thought of having to pray out loud. Just gather with us because prayer, it's communal. We also want to focus in on that. Being together, even if you are praying quietly or meditating while we're together, is great too. And so we just love to see your face on Sunday night, 6:30 on Zoom. And that way we can, be together and pray.
Yeah, and last time we took time to hear a little bit from each person, so we just want to connect with each other and with God, and
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah.
No, it's another way that we can, while we're physically distant, be connected, and that's. It's great to know that yes, as a church, everybody's doing their own thing, praying, but it's just nice to come together and do it together every now and then, and so that's what we want Sunday night to be about. Just other things to be aware of with Easter coming up. We sort of started dropping a little bit of detail last week about a different Easter event on the Thursday night before, having our own little meal celebration together. Everyone's going to be in their homes. We will also link everyone through Zoom so that we can be connected as we take part in what is often called a Seder meal, and which we don't want to make it hard for anyone, because if you think, oh, I have no idea what that is, I don't know what I'm going to do, we're going to make it as easy as we possibly can for you to join in. We're going to put together a little package, a little plate of all the elements that are needed with directions of how to set it up, what to do, what it means, and then we're going to, however you want to set it, sit at the dining room table with things there and a laptop in a corner so you can see and hear and all be together, or around your coffee table, whatever kind of works in the space you're in. And we will lead you through that. And as a way of remembering and taking note of the significance, and just trying to gather a little bit of an understanding of what was it like for the disciples that night, their last night with Jesus around that meal. And so we know communion, we know the bread, we know the wine, but what else was there? What else was going on? And so we trust that will help us really enter the Easter celebration in maybe a fuller way or a new way, just kind of help us focus in a really kind of cool and different way. So that's coming up. We do need to know, though, who is going to be joining us in that. Not just so we know who to send the link to, but so that we can get you your package of elements, right? Because, you're going to have like some horseradish and some parsley and some like a lamb bone, just a bunch of different stuff like that. But we don't want to over-prepare or under-prepare. So we're going to invite you to reach out and connect with Ursula in the church office, either by phone or by email, office@lakeviewheightsbaptist.com, and get your name on the list, and then we can get all of that stuff to you. If you are wanting to join us and you're out of town, we're just going to say delivery of this stuff is limited to the central Okanagan area. And I know that's loosely defined. If you call in from Calgary, for example, and are like, hey, we'd like to join you, cool, we'll send you a list of what you need to find, and you're going to be on your own there. I'm sorry. I'm not driving to Calgary. I can't.
You're from Calgary, right?
That would be,
Well, no,
that'd be
you
unfortunate.
you could just do like a FedEx. Put it in a box.
Sure. Yeah. All right. And then it'll get there maybe a week later. Like I don't know. Maybe times have improved since the last time I've tried to ship things. But
How far does skip the dishes drop?
that's right.
But I do like the idea that wherever you are, you can join. We'll just have a list for you, and you can.
Yeah. I figure why not, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of one of the things that's happened is sometimes people feel connected to Lakeview now, but they're not always in West Kelowna.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a church, and we don't apologize for this. Like, our focus is West Kelowna, but you know what? If you're from other places, that's great. It's great to be able to worship with you and lift Jesus up together.
Mm-hmm.
He's not regional, but you know, most of what Lakeview does is, and so that's okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's coming up. Some birthday news. As we record this on Wednesday, it's Paul Garricky's birthday. So happy birthday, Paul. I have no idea if you ever watch Coffee Talk. But,
I'm sure he does.
Happy birthday. And of course, this comes out the day after your birthday, so happy belated birthday. And now I'm off the hook of having to email it. No, we'll just say that. But a really cool, I won't say how old Paul is because I really have no idea. He's a kid compared to some of us. All of us. But no, I'm me. Like, he's so much younger than me. I'm not thinking. Yeah, trouble here. Compared to Jeff. Ooh, man, he's young. All right. So, anyways, there's a birthday we really want to acknowledge this week. I'm going to let Kevin tell all about it, but we're all young compared to this fine, distinguished gentleman.
Yes. And you know, we've been kind of throwing this one out there for like 3 years now and saying, if you are this close, you're pretty much there. So George Fritzke, our wonderful, dearly beloved charter member, is turning 100 this Sunday, Sunday the 14th. And so we are preparing as a leadership to send him a care package and some flowers. And what we are wanting everybody to do, and there's an email that came out earlier this week on Tuesday about it, so this is kind of a reference to that, but we want to kind of in some ways send a video card. And so what we want you to do is grab your phone, if you have a smartphone, turn the camera on, press record, and just say, George, happy birthday, we love you dearly. Like anything that you would kind of write in his big giant 100 centennial birthday card, just have yourself say that, and we're going to put all these videos together and send it to him. So you have all this week, and so you kind of got the email, but you have all this week to send that to us until Saturday night. That's when we're going to compile all these so that we can send it to him Sunday. If for some reason you don't have a phone, or that's beyond you, or you're already kind of stopped listening because you're like, oh, that's too technical, just come to the church or book a time with us to just come to the church. We have cameras, we have everything that you need. We can have a beautiful backdrop outside or something, and to just have you say, George, we love you, happy birthday, can't believe you're 100, that's amazing. And so we'll be able to send him that and bless him with that, and kind of get Connie and the family in on helping him celebrate. I'm sure that they have a huge party planned for the most part, so
huge.
Huge in terms of it's COVID, and he's 100. I mean, that's amazing, and so
it's pretty great.
So send us your videos. Send it to lakeviewheightsbaptist@gmail.com, and that's simply just so that we don't bog up a lot of emails with videos. But send it to lakeviewheightsbaptist@gmail.com, and we will compile all those for Sunday, and just it's going to be awesome. We're hoping that we can get Connie to take a picture of him like enjoying the care package, as well as watching us and being able to recognize everybody. We'll put everybody's names on there and stuff too.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, might be wondering, I mean, you hear, oh, someone's turning 100 and you're doing something technical for them. His family, you've mentioned Connie a couple times. He's got family who's going to help him connect with all that.
That's the other thing that some people might not be aware. So in the last year and a half, almost 2 years, we haven't really seen him. because he had a fall. He was in Cottonwoods for a little bit. He was in another place, and then he went down. So he's with his family in Richmond, and so he's still very much connected. He's just not here. He's not at his house in down at Green Bay, right? And so he's got beautiful lakefront property that's just some family is taking care of these days, but
it's good you added that too, because in my head I'm going, you just advertised to the world that there's an empty house. No, there's a watch that's being taken care of. Don't go loot it. There's people there, so but yeah, he's being well cared for, and he's here in spirit.
Yeah, and that he's in Richmond with family. So we want to just bless that.
It's awesome. That's great, and I'm sure it'll be a wonderful celebration. It's too bad we can't have cake here, but whatever. Soon enough.
Maybe you can record yourself eating cake and saying happy birthday.
Yeah, we threatened to do that to my mom on her birthday this year. We didn't. In the end, it was all good.
Yeah.
One other thing, just announcements. This Sunday, we're doing another Lakeview Kids call on the Zoom as well. So if you're in our kids ministry, we'd love to connect with you on the morning, 9:00 a.m. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna we'll have a lesson together and have some fun. So invite you to join us for that. And again, check your email for links to all of that. And I think that's it for this week, right?
Just a reminder to be praying. Did you want to say anything more about prayer or anything else before we?
Nothing else really comes to my mind. Just as God prompts you, even during this COVID time, if someone comes to your mind, don't just let it pass. Pray for them, pick up the phone, and just connect with those that God is prompting you with.
That's great.
It's both of those are a powerful way to just connect other people to God and to each other.
And I just want to thank you for that. I know that you do that you are praying for people and connecting with people, and that's a great example. And so she's not just telling you to do it, she's doing it as well. So
trying.
Yeah. Well, God bless you.